Karen demanded table without reservation, then got banned for causing a scene. The restaurant was alive with the hum of conversation, clinking glasses, and the faint sizzle of steaks on the grill. But when Karen stormed through the door, her voice sliced through the ambiance like a knife through butter. "I demand a table, now," she bellowed, her designer purse swinging like a weapon. It was a Saturday night at Bella Vita, a cozy Italian bistro in the heart of downtown, known for its handmade pasta and impossible to get reservations. My girlfriend, Mia, and I had planned this date for weeks, saving up for a rare night out. We were just settling into our corner booth, menus in hand, when Karen's voice shattered the evening's calm. Heads turned. The hostess, a young woman named Sarah with a practiced smile, tried to explain that every table was booked. Karen wasn't having it. "I don't care if you're booked," Karen snapped, her perfectly manicured nails jabbing the air. "Do you know who I am? I eat at five-star restaurants all the time, and this place is barely a 3. Her voice dripped with condescension, and I could see Sarah's smile falter. Mia squeezed my hand under the table, her eyes wide. This was going to be a show. Karen's tirade didn't stop at the hostess. She turned her fury on a nearby waiter, a lanky kid who couldn't have been older than 19, accusing him of ignoring her when he hadn't even been assigned to her. The kid froze, tray wobbling in his hands. "Ma'am, I'm just trying to serve," he started, but Karen cut him off. "Don't, ma'am, get me your manager." The manager, a stocky man named Tony with a no-nonsense demeanor, appeared quickly. He was calm, professional, but Karen took his arrival as an invitation to escalate. "This is outrageous," she shrieked, now pacing in front of the hostess stand. "I've been coming to this city for years, and I've never been treated like this. You're all incompetent." Mia leaned toward me, whispering, "She didn't even make a reservation. Did she?" I shook my head, already sensing where this was headed. Bella Vita was strict about its policies. Reservations were non-negotiable, especially on weekends. Karen's entitlement was about to crash headfirst into reality. As Karen's voice grew louder, the restaurant's warm glow seemed to dim. Diners at nearby tables stopped eating, their forks hovering midair. A family with 2 kids looked uncomfortable, the parents exchanging glances as if debating whether to leave. The tension was palpable, like a storm cloud swelling before the downpour. Then came the twist. From the back of the restaurant, a woman in her 60s emerged, her silver hair pulled into a neat bun. She wore a simple black dress, but there was an air of authority about her. I later learned she was Maria, the restaurant's owner, who rarely made appearances but had been in the kitchen that night overseeing a special event. She'd heard the commotion and decided to step in. "Excuse me," Maria said, her voice steady but commanding. The room fell silent. Even Karen paused, momentarily thrown off by the older woman's presence. "I understand you're upset, but we have a full house tonight. If you'd like, we can take your name for the wait list, but it'll be at least an hour." Karen's face turned scarlet. "An hour. Do you know how much I spend on dining? I could buy this place." She laughed, a harsh, mocking sound. "You're telling me I have to wait while these people," she gestured vaguely at Mia, "and me get to sit here like they own the place." I felt my jaw tighten. Mia's grip on my hand grew tighter, her nails digging into my palm. Maria, however, didn't flinch. "Those people," she said coolly, "made a reservation. You didn't. That's how it works." The standoff was electric. Karen's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, I thought she might back down. But then she did something that made my stomach drop. She reached out, grabbed a glass of water from a nearby table belonging to a stunned couple who'd been quietly eating, and slammed it onto the floor. The glass shattered, sending shards skittering across the hardwood. Gasps rippled through the room. "That's what I think of your rules." Karen spat. "You'll give me a table, or I'll make sure everyone knows how awful this place is." The restaurant was frozen. The young waiter looked like he might cry. Sarah, the hostess, was pale, her hands trembling as she clutched her reservation book. Mia whispered. She's unhinged. I nodded, my heart pounding. This wasn't just a tantrum anymore. It was chaos. Maria stepped forward, her expression like steel. You've crossed a line, she said, her voice low but cutting. You're not welcome here. Leave now, or I'll call the police. Karen laughed again, but it was nervous now, less confident. You wouldn't dare, she said, but her eyes darted around, noticing the phones now pointed at her, recording every word. The other diners weren't just watching, they were documenting. Tony, the manager, was already on his phone, speaking quietly but firmly. Yes, we need assistance at Bella Vita. There's a disruptive customer refusing to leave. Karen's bravado began to crack. You're calling the cops for what? Because I want a table. She turned to the crowd, as if expecting support. This is ridiculous. You all see how they're treating me. Right. But the crowd wasn't on her side. The family with kids was already packing up, the mother muttering about entitled people. An older man at the bar shook his head, saying loud enough for everyone to hear. Lady, you broke a glass. You're lucky they're not suing you. That's when the twist deepened. A man in a suit, who'd been quietly eating alone at a small table, stood up. He was unassuming, with wire-rimmed glasses and a tired expression, but his voice carried weight. I'm a lawyer, he said, addressing Karen directly, and I've been watching this whole thing. You've damaged property, harassed staff, and disrupted a business. If they press charges, you're looking at vandalism and public disturbance at the very least. Karen's mouth opened, then closed. For the first time, she seemed to realize the gravity of her actions. The lawyer continued, I'd suggest you leave before this gets worse, and maybe think twice before you act like this again. The room was silent, save for the faint hum of the kitchen. Karen's face was a mix of rage and humiliation, but she was cornered. The lawyer's words, combined with the threat of police and the crowd's disapproval, were too much. She grabbed her purse, muttering under her breath about suing everyone, and stormed toward the door. But the chaos wasn't over. As she pushed past a server carrying a tray of food, she bumped into him, sending plates of pasta crashing to the floor. The server, a young woman with a tired smile, looked devastated as marinara sauce splattered her apron. Karen didn't even glance back. Maria Witt, however, wasn't done. As Karen reached the door, Maria called out, You're banned from Bella Vita. Don't come back. The door slammed behind Karen, and for a moment, the restaurant was still. Then, slowly, conversation resumed. The family with kids decided to stay, the mother thanking Maria for handling the situation. The lawyer returned to his meal as if nothing had happened. Sarah, the hostess, let out a shaky breath, and Tony gave her a reassuring pat on the shoulder. Mia and I sat there stunned. Our romantic evening had turned into a front-row seat to a spectacle of entitlement and consequences. But there was something satisfying about it, too. Karen had walked in thinking she could bully her way to whatever she wanted, but she'd left humiliated, her outburst captured on dozens of phones. As the staff cleaned up the broken glass and spilled food, Maria approached our table. I'm so sorry you had to witness that, she said, her voice warm but tired. Dinner's on us tonight. No one should have their evening ruined like this. We thanked her, but I couldn't help but feel a pang of guilt. We hadn't done anything to stop Karen's rampage, none of us had. Maybe we could have spoken up sooner, or maybe it wasn't our place. Either way, the night left a mark. As we left Bella Vita, our bellies full of tiramisu and our minds buzzing with the drama, Mia said, You know, she's probably going to post some rant online about how she was mistreated. I laughed. Oh, definitely. But with all those videos floating around, I don't think anyone's going to buy it. The next day, sure enough, social media was ablaze with clips of Karen's meltdown. The hashtag #BellaVita blowup was trending, and the comments were brutal. This is why you make reservations. One user wrote, another said, she got what she deserved. A local news outlet even picked up the story, interviewing Maria about the incident. She was gracious, emphasizing that Bella Vita was about community and respect, not entitlement. Karen, meanwhile, was nowhere to be found online, at least. Not under her real name. Rumor had it she'd deleted her social media accounts after the videos went viral. Her moment of infamy had become her downfall, a public lesson in accountability. Looking back, I can't help but wonder what drove Karen to act that way. Was it arrogance, desperation, a bad day that boiled over, whatever it was? Her actions had consequences not just for her, but for everyone in that restaurant. The staff, the diners, even Mia and me, we were all part of her collateral damage. But in the end, justice was served, not with vengeance, but with the simple enforcement of boundaries. What do you think was Karen's ban fair? Or should she have been given another chance? Share your thoughts. I'm curious to hear what you'd have done in that moment.